Welcome to the Employment Law Channel. Since the recession, the demand for legal services has fallen in nearly all areas of the law, except labor and employment, the lone area where the fallout of the recession appears to be helping rather than hurting law firms. My guest is Outten and Golden partner Tammy Marzigliano. Tammy, it is a pleasure to talk with you again. Welcome.
Thank you.
So talk briefly about your firm's employment law practice area.
Well, the employment law is really the big umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So within that, there's many different practice areas. And in our firm, and we only represent employees, we're on the plaintiff side of it. So within that, you have executive and professional practice group. And that's really dealing with offer letters and contracts. You have the financial service practice group. And there you're dealing with bonus claims and FINRA arbitrations. You have wage and hour, which has got a lot of class actions in that practice group. You have discrimination, retaliation, and that's just a few. Mm-hmm. But the point here is really when you talk about employment law, it's not really pigeonholed like you're dealing with real estate or another different area of the law. So we're pretty diversified, and that's why I think in times where the economy is not doing well, we're not impacted like other law firms are in other different specialties.
Mm-hmm. And so talk about if if this information sort of reflects what you're seeing with your firm. Are you seeing more alleged employment discrimination cases and unpaid wages? Is that really on the upswing right now?
I think that it is. We're definitely seeing a lot more severance agreements. Mm-hmm. There's tons of layoffs, and we're getting a lot more severance agreements coming in. I think that, employers definitely try to cut corners when things are bad, and, this impacts wages that they're paying people. They don't want to pay out bonuses, and that's, there's an uptick in bonus claims. But the big thing is, I think, how the recession impacts our area of law is there's a lot more cases, definitely. And there's definitely a lot more severance agreements. But I think the important point is there's a lot more fighting. Because when the economy is doing well, employers they're more willing to settle cases. They're more willing to have that conversation. And when you're dealing with the recession, they fight harder, and they really force you to file, whether it's with the EEOC or the Department of Labor. So you're really going to have to take it that extra mile. Hence, that translates into being a lot busier for us.
Mm-hmm. So does this, when there's a recession going on, or at least an economic downturn, does this change the way that you approach things in any way?
No, our approach remains the same, but one of the other things that we do is we advise clients. Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of our practice, that we really help clients navigate through their employment matter. And that is, I think we see a lot more of that now, and especially in times of a recession, because these people, they're confused. They don't know, mm-hmm. what's going on. They don't understand what their rights are. So I think that, we'll definitely see a lot more of that.
Do you think that this type of area or this type of economic downturn also means that people need to be extra careful when they are signing an employment agreement, and that they should take more care in making sure that it's doing what it needs to be doing for them?
I think that an employee should always be really careful before they sign anything. Whether it's an employment contract or if it's a severance agreement, they should have somebody review it. I don't think that that's indicative of where the economy is, because it's really important when someone is signing a severance agreement, they're waiving their rights. Mm-hmm. And, they may have viable rights that they're giving up in exchange for X amount of dollars. So I think it's really important that they have it reviewed. I think that the challenge is when you're dealing with a recession, these people don't want to spend the money mm-hmm. to have it reviewed. And I think that's a mistake. I think it's important that they do that and that they need to do that.
Talk about what you see in the immediate future and trends that you see emerging in your area of law practice.
Honestly, I think the hot trend right now is the whistleblower and retaliation practice group. and specifically the Dodd-Frank Act. I think that the passage of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, and that was passed in 2010, July 2010. Congress passed that act, and I think that's hot right now. And I think specifically Section 922 of that act, you're going to see a lot more of that, and we're already seeing it, right? Because there's two pieces I think are important, and one is the bounty piece of it, the whistleblower bounty piece of it, and that's where a whistleblower, because it doesn't necessarily have to be an employee, but a whistleblower will get a percentage over $1 million, 10 to 30% of any recovery. And the SEC actually recently just paid out on that. They paid a whistleblower $50,000 out of a $150,000 recovery that it received. So this is really going to incentivize people to speak out. The second piece of it is the anti-retaliation piece, which is pretty robust. And this is to, again, incentivize people to speak out if they see some kind of wrongdoing, corporate fraud, or securities violation, and the law will protect them when they do so, and will give them significant damages that were not otherwise available. So I think we're going to see this play out, in the future more and more, and I think it's an exciting time in that regard.
Well, Tammy, it's been great speaking with you again. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My guest is Tammy Marzigliano. She's a partner with the employment law firm of Outten and Golden. I'm Scott Drake, and you're watching the Employment Law Channel here on the Legal Broadcast Network.